Hello, Wonder Hussy here. Apologies, I'm looking a little ragged, but it's basically first thing in the morning. I'm getting ready to load up my rig here for another expedition out into the hinterlands of middle of nowhere, Nevada. And there's one thing I gotta take care of before I take this beast back out on the road. And it's something I meant to address before my last expedition into the hinterlands of Death Valley, but, well, just never got around to. But I really gotta do it now because it's important. Okay, here's the issue. See this rear view mirror on the side view mirror, driver's side? Okay, now see this rear view mirror, side view mirror, passenger side? Well, you're probably wondering what happened to that pretty little piece of white plastic trim that hides all the wiring that makes the mirrors move and defrost and all that good stuff. Well, I'll be honest. This actually happened back last July, I think, when I was driving US 50, the loneliest road in America. I took it all the way from Carson City to the Utah border and beyond, and that's where I ran into trouble. I was driving through a kind of like a cow pasture in a really pretty little farm town in Utah, and I had noticed these giant weird metal things way out in the distance in the field, and I was curious to go see what they were. You might remember that from the video. I ended up finding out it was an abandoned solar farm that had a pretty interesting history. I think it was basically like a tax shelter write-off. So now there's these huge, bizarre, giant metal things just sitting out, baking to death in this field in Utah. Well, I wanted to get a look at them, so I was driving over there, and, well, I'll be honest, I wasn't paying as close attention to the road as I might have been, or as I should have been. I also might have been using my cell phone at the same time as I was driving. I wasn't talking on it, though. I was calibrating the compass. Okay, I use Google Maps to navigate, and every now and then they go, your compass must be calibrated, and you know, you have to move your phone in a figure eight, and then you got to move your phone this way, and then you got to move your phone that way, and, well, next thing you know, I'm trying to do all this while I'm driving, and next thing you know, veered right off this dirt road and ran smack into a fence post. That's right. Don't use your phone while you're driving. I'm lucky that I didn't run into a person, an animal, or, well, something that was more substantial. As it was, the fence post didn't suffer any damage. It was one of those really thick ones, like almost like a section of a telephone pole with barbed wire strung on it. So the fence was fine. This was actually pretty messed up. Like, the mirror was completely shattered, and then the white plastic housing, well, it was gone, but I looked around in the field, and there I found it laying there. It was intact. Popped it back on, no problem. Put some duct tape around it for safety. When I got back into Vegas, I looked up this mirror and got one at AutoZone. I feel like it wasn't very expensive at all. I didn't get a heated one, just regular one, but I feel like I only spent like 20, 30 bucks on that. So, hey, easy fix, right? Didn't think anything more of it until, oh gosh, this was probably 2 weeks ago. I was out at Lake Mead making a video about my top 10 worst hot springs I've ever been to. And that's not even, like, the place that I shot that video, it's a paved parking lot. It's not like it's off-roading or anything. But I think what happened is I parked real close to a creosote bush, because I remember hearing the creosote bush scrape against my window inside of my car. I think what happened is that dang creosote bush must have knocked that plastic housing loose. Because I feel like the housing has come off a couple times since the incident. I think, or my guess as to what happened is one of the little plastic clips that holds it on here probably got busted off. And so it wasn't, you know, it was like I was able to snap it back into place, but it wasn't like locked in securely. Anyway, so all that happened about 2 weeks ago. It was right before my big expedition out to Death Valley that went horribly awry and ended, I mean, I had to make a 2-video series all about that. So obviously I didn't have time to attend to it then. I thought I came up with a pretty smart solution, and I intended to take care of it while I was out at the hot springs, but, well, you know how it is. I was on vacation. I didn't feel like dealing with it. So I just had what I did is I wrapped a plastic bag around it to protect the electronics from all the dust out there. So I had a Ziploc bag around it with a bunch of duct tape, holding it for later work for about the last week. But now here I am at home. I'm going on another trip. By gum, I can't put this off any longer. I need to fix this. So I took off the Ziploc bag, threw that away, and now I got to figure out a way to cover up all these sensitive electronics. Now, I know I could go to Toyota.com or some OEM authorized parts website and order a new one of these bad boys, but I'll bet you dollars to donuts that this little piece of plastic will probably run me like $300. And I ain't got that kind of cheese in my wallet. I mean, okay, technically, yes, I could pay $300, but it's the principle. Come on, guys. That shouldn't be $300. And here's why I say that. If you've been watching my videos for any length of time, you've probably noticed that there's a piece of trim missing from my bumper here. Okay, there's supposed to be this decorative silver plastic, I guess, bumper cover running along. You can see the holes there where it's supposed to pop in. Well, what happened with that is I was off-roading once with my friend Larry, and I think I was trying to do a 3-point turn or something in a narrow canyon, and I bonked back against a rock or something. It's a bumper. It's meant to be bumped against. To this day, I regret not getting out myself and looking at it because Larry got out and said, oh, it's going to fall off. It just needs to be removed. And so he pried it off. And my guess is that he accidentally broke one of the little plastic clips that, well, you can actually see. I think it's these. I don't remember exactly what it is. Some little piece of plastic on it got broken. And, well, guess what? It can't be stuck back on. I mean, I could glue it back on. I still have the piece. But it cannot be clipped back into place because this little piece of plastic broke off of the trim piece. And I don't have a plastic welder, if there even is such a thing, nor the little piece of plastic that I would need to get it to a fix. So I don't really care. It doesn't look that weird to me. It doesn't really bother me. But I did go on Toyota.com or whatever website sells OEM Toyota parts, and that friggin' plastic piece of trim, which is just decorative, was like, I want to say it was like $800. $800. So that's why I say, I'll bet you anything that buying one of these will be probably like $200-300. But that's okay. I came up with an idea for an inexpensive fix. What I did is I got one of them plastic water jugs, you know, that 2-gallon jugs with a spigot. And I cut off a piece that, well, I'll be a monkey's uncle if it doesn't just fit almost perfectly. Look at this. Look at that. You'd never know the difference, would you? I think there's a name for this kind of body work, and I won't go into that now, but I also got some white duct tape that I'm going to use to cover it and affix it firmly to the frame of the mirror. And, well, I'll show you the finished result, and you can tell me if it's worth saving $200-300 or not. All right, there she is. Bada bing, bada boom. Now you tell me, if you saw this 4Runner driving down the street, would you even notice? Or I guess more precisely, if you were driving this 4Runner down the street and you were me, would you even care? I feel like I just saved $300 and I'm a little bit proud of myself. Maybe I'll use some of that $300 to get myself a hotel room tonight where I'm going. Because guess what? Oh my God, I'm supposed to go meet these people that are big fans of the channel. We arranged to do this trip months ago before there was an accurate weather forecast. And it's going to be like 30 degrees, in the 30s anyways, the next few nights up where I'm going. So I guess I'll use all the money I saved to treat myself. And I'm actually going to stay in a hotel that I've been wanting to stay in for a long time. So stay tuned for that.